In this video, I'm going to take you guys on a guided tour of all the upgrades and improvements and even the subtle changes that Samsung has made to the Galaxy Z Fold 7 versus my current Z Fold 6. Because as you would expect, there have been a bunch of upgrades. I'll also show you the new colors of the new devices so you don't end up making a mistake and choosing the wrong one if you do decide to pick one up. And something that I'm particularly happy about is that Samsung has finally made two major upgrades to the Fold 7, which I've been waiting for, and I know a lot of you guys have been too. So let's get into this. The first upgrade to the Z Fold 7 is the device's slimness. When unfolded at its thinnest point, it's reduced from 5.1mm on the Z Fold 6 down to 4.2, and this is a very noticeable difference, and probably even more so when closed, as it's decreased from 12mm down to 8.9. And just for context, my current Galaxy S25 Ultra with this very thin carbon fiber case on it is 11mm thick, so the Z Fold 7 without a case will feel thinner than my Galaxy S25 Ultra. And actually now it's so thin that you can mistake it for a regular phone. And Samsung have also managed to reduce the weight by a full 24 grams. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 weighs just 215 grams now. And again, for context, that's 12 grams lighter than the iPhone 16 Pro Max, which is just a regular bar phone. And the good news doesn't stop there. Here is the first of the massive upgrades that I've been waiting for. Samsung has finally widened the cover screen. Now this change makes a massive difference to the typing experience, and of course just using the device quickly on a day-to-day basis, because you're not going to want to open the screen every time, and Corning's Gorilla Armor Glass protects that front display. There's also a brand new Armor Flex hinge with a new grade 4 titanium lattice design, and you'll see how this affects the crease in a moment. And if you have used a previous Z Fold, you're going to instantly notice how much slimmer that hinge is, and it's a large part of the reason why the phone is so thin. The back of the Fold 7 is now Victus 2, and the frame is a newer advanced armor aluminium. Okay, now let's talk about the big screen, because that is the big attraction here on the Z Fold. It has increased in size by 11%, and it is probably one of the most beautiful unfolded displays that you can get right now. The crease when the display is on does look visibly less noticeable to me in comparison to my Z Fold 6. Now, one thing that some might consider a downgrade is the absence of the under display camera, which, if we're being honest, did look good, but the reality is the camera performance was not great. So this has kind of been corrected now with a much better 10 megapixel in-display camera, which will deliver better photos and have a wider field of view. And if we're being real, most people who are using a bar phone will be very familiar with punch hole cameras. I personally see this as an upgrade, but let me know what you think. Okay, here is another significant upgrade, and it is to the chipset. So Samsung has a deal with Qualcomm, and they've managed to secure the fastest version of the Snapdragon 8 Elite chip for the Galaxy Z Fold. It is exclusive to Samsung, and this is not only more powerful right across the board, but it's also 30% more power efficient, which is very important because Samsung have stuck with the same size battery here at 4,300 milliamp hours. Now here is that second big upgrade that I was hoping for, and it is here. The primary camera used on the Galaxy Z Fold 7 has the same 200 megapixel sensor as the Galaxy S25 Ultra, and since the primary camera is the one most people will use the most, this is a really nice upgrade. And when it comes to the other cameras, although the megapixel counts remain the same on the ultra-wide and the tele, there are new sensors being used here, and when you combine that with the upgraded image signal processing of the Snapdragon chip, the camera performance should see a massive boost in comparison to the Fold 6. For example, improved AI image tools, also auto background noise reduction when filming videos, circle to search within games if you're looking for tips and tricks, and I'm told One UI 8 will introduce more AI features that can help you adjust system settings using your voice. Okay, now there are three colors to choose from. Blue Shadow. I believe this will be the most popular color. It's a dark blue, probably best described as navy, and we have seen this before on a Samsung Galaxy device. It was the S25 Plus and the regular S25. In a lineup of all three of the colors, I believe this Z Fold stands out the most, and that's probably why it's going to be the most popular. There's also a jet black, which is the safest option. We've seen jet black on many Galaxy devices in the past. In my opinion, it has that stealthy look. The frame nicely contrasts with that black back. It gives it this really classy look. So this actually might be the one that I go for. Then there's the silver shadows, which is the most flashy of the three phones. So if you are looking for a phone that kind of catches the light and you want the light to gleam off it and reflect when you're using your phone, well then yeah, this one will be the one for you. Now there is an exclusive online mint green color. I've only seen pictures of this. I don't know how nice that's going to be, but it does look kind of cool. And if you are going to order online, definitely use the links below this video because you can get some discounts and some enhanced trading offers and things like that. Anyway, let's quickly run through the upgrades made on the Z Flip7 now. So the cover screen is increased from 3.4 inch to 4.1. That cover screen is now brighter at 2600 nits peak. The bezels are slimmer at 1.25 millimeter. And that inner display has a 21:9 aspect ratio, and the size is increased from 6.7 inch up to 6.9. And the Z Flip7's hinge has also been upgraded to that new Armor Flex hinge. The battery size is 4300 mAh, just a little bit smaller than the Z Folds. And I'm told you can use Gemini on the cover display now, which means you can interact with Gemini using the Flex View camera setup, which could be a really interesting feature. There's also this really nice new animation around the camera modules when you're using auto frame or auto zoom in the flex mode. The cameras on the Z Fold are 12 megapixel ultra wide and a 50 megapixel wide lens, which has a 2x lossless crop. And then you've got a 10 megapixel in-display camera, just like the one in the Z Fold7. Now remember, one of the biggest selling points for this phone, in my opinion, is the use of the flex mode, because you can shoot videos and take photos using the best camera on the phone, which is that 50 megapixel sensor. And this is a big upgrade for content creators. The main camera does support 10-bit HDR video recording, so if you are a content creator, this will be a welcomed upgrade. And this is another significant productivity upgrade. And it's the first time we've seen this on a flip device. Samsung have now introduced DeX on the Flip7, which does mean you can connect the Flip7 to a TV or a monitor and turn it basically into a PC. So the color options here on the Z Flip7 are blue shadow, just like the Z Fold's blue shadow. It's nice and it's probably going to be popular with the guys. There's the black, which is the kind of safer option, more business looking device. And then there's the coral red, which I think will most likely be popular among the ladies because it kind of does look pink. And again, there is an online mint green color, which I personally need to see before I comment on it. And just so you know, there are a couple more affordable versions of the Flip this year. Samsung have released the Flip7 FE. I didn't get much of a chance to dive into the specs and the differences compared to the Flip 6 from last year. What I do know is there is two colors, the black and the white. The cover display seems to be the older one from the Flip 6, and the price point on release is around £150 less than the Flip 7. Okay, lastly, if you like having a good time,
then you need a good watch.
And there are technically 3 new Galaxy watches this year. There's the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, which features a rotating crown for easy navigation and scrolling. There's also an additional button here, just like the Ultra. Honestly, I do prefer the Watch 8 Standard Edition. They managed to slim this down by 11%, and the design has changed a little bit, so it's quite similar to the Galaxy Watch Ultra now. It has that kind of rounded, rectangular metal body, but with this circular watch face. And Samsung have introduced a bunch of upgrades, which I will get into when I finally get the watches. But a couple of significant ones right now is that Samsung have introduced dual GPS, so better GPS tracking now, as well as upgrades to the sleep tracking side of things. So it can now alert you to sleep apnea. Now you know that Monday morning feeling when you get out of bed and you're like, yeah, hopefully those Galaxy watches will help us avoid that in the future. And there is one new addition to the Galaxy Watch family, which isn't a brand new watch, it's just a brand new color, the titanium blue Galaxy Watch Ultra, which does look nice. I will be making a bunch of tutorials as well as reviews and other stuff around these phones and wearables, so definitely consider subscribing for that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, well then,
Do it. Do it.
because I would really appreciate it. See you guys in the next one.